All right, you guys, welcome. You guys, come on in. Hit that like button on the way in, you guys. Thank you again for subscribing. Those that have subscribed, if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well, and the notification bell so that you can get the drop when I go live. You won't miss a thing. Okay, so before I get started, this site is for education and entertainment purposes. Therefore, everything that I say after this, you guys, is allegedly. Allegedly. Okay. So yeah, I have over 3 hours, you guys, of recording of the in live in the courtroom. I'm working on it, trying to get it all uploaded because it's so much. But right now we're going to go right back into a continuation in the courtroom of the witness that is on the stand right now, the police officer. So let's go ahead and get right back into the courtroom on the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial live right now. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on, you guys. And we can get started, okay?
Put it on the record. I believe the stipulation would be that that Mr. Bryan, in speaking with this witness, never used the word angle or angled.
Your Honor, he used that with another investigator. That's correct.
Sir? Yeah, I see the block in the corner of these.
I don't need Mr. Sheffield's permission to make a stipulation.
I'm not sure that was the objection. Next time, if we're going to stipulate something, let's go ahead and do that so we have some prior. I'll address that on the record once we have an opportunity to do so. I understand that that's the stipulation of the parties. You can go ahead.
Sir, I'm not going to make you read through the rest of that transcript.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. I see corner and block so far, but I haven't gone all the way through.
There's a lot of witness statements in this case, aren't there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Fair enough. I'm getting back to an issue that I started earlier and lost my place. Mr. Bryan told you that it was obvious that Mr. Arbery was up to something that day. Did he not?
Can you, if you don't mind, could you refer
Page
me?
20. I previously referenced page 28.
Okay.
I believe it's page 20.
Living room motion detector. Kitchen motion detector.
Okay, looks like Mr. William Bryan here says, I mean, if the guy would have stopped, you know what I mean, to find out what was going on, he obviously was up to something.
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down. And I understand this witness also we are releasing today, but remains subject to recall. All right, you are released for the day, subject to recall. Thank you.
Y'all disregard the motion detector. Sorry, y'all.
We can make it that time. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, lawyers, the court, we use words that have a lot of meaning, and I want to explain one to you. In this case, evidence in the form of a stipulation has been introduced. A stipulation is an agreement between the parties concerning some fact or facts, which you as the jury are bound to accept as facts during your deliberations. You may give the facts in the stipulations any weight or credibility you determine appropriate in your deliberations. So, with that explanation of what a stipulation is, we're going to take a 15-minute recess and we'll come back for continuation of the evidence. Thank you.
All right, for sure.
Okay. So while they take their quick. They're 15 or whatever, you guys. Hold on. I'm gonna mute this because I want to talk about it for a second. Because in the 3-hour recording that I'm going to upload, you guys, sometime today, it is a lot of evidence that was presented. The video of the actual shooting and what took place. And it is very graphic. Not sure if I'm going to be able to show, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it. It's kind of graphic, but again, a lot was presented, you guys. Also, what came out that no one rendered him aid. No one rendered aid to him until the other officer, the one that's on the stand right now, is the only one that rendered aid to Ahmaud Arbery, allegedly. Okay, the other officer didn't, and neither did surely Travis or Gregory or William. Neither one of those three the suspects, allegedly, neither one of them, they weren't going to render aid. Okay, they actually hunted him down so that they could gun him down, allegedly. Okay, so they showed a lot of video. They showed a lot of evidence. They presented the gun, allegedly, that was on the ground. In the video they showed. So once I drop the video, you guys, then we can further discuss it. What I will do is do like a reaction video on it so that we can, kind of go over what was, said in the courtroom. So yeah. Also, you guys, I don't know who all watched the video of my live from last night, and we talked about Treasure Hendricks and Charlie Bell, the white police officer who RV that she was found dead in. And I brought up some allegations on him, if you guys can remember. He had quite a bit of them. Some I opened up and went through, and some I did not go through and open up. But I am definitely going to keep updating on that, and I'm following that. When I say I'm following that story, just like I am following the Ahmaud Arbery case as well. I will be following Treasure Hendricks case because they're trying to sweep that under the rug. And Charlie Bell, that the white police officer who has now resigned, think that he's gotten away with it. Okay, so definitely, you guys, share that video so that her death does not go in vain, guys. Okay, something has to be done about that, and I'm definitely going to keep talking about it. Okay, so now in the first piece of evidence from what I saw, you guys, that I'm going to be uploading in the video, it kind of started out kind of like rocky, that they were trying to make Ahmaud be the one who attacked them when that police officer got, the one that's on stand right now, got on there and started telling what was said in the statements that were given in his initial statement when he got out there, and it's all on his body cam, what he recorded and stuff like that. Oh, it's so obvious that they've already lied and turned the story around, trying to say that Ahmaud basically ran toward them, and he felt threatened, and he basically shot him out of self-defense. Well, no, it's all came out now, you all, that they actually ran him down and gunned him down the same way Trayvon was gunned down by Zimmerman, chased down and gunned down, minding his own business. This is the exact same thing, you guys, as Trayvon Martin with Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud Arbery was jogging. So what if he had gone into that vacant house? That was 2 weeks before. They have him on camera going into that house. So just because he was running or jogging did not give them the right to chase this man down like they did and shoot him the way they did. And when I say, y'all, that video man, the video is messed up, y'all, how they did him. Y'all, it's gonna piss y'all off. I'm telling you, I don't even know if I'm going to show it. And if not, you guys, you all can go on right now also. And the case is live on YouTube. Okay, the trial. I'm recording it for you guys, for those that haven't been able to see it or can't see it or whatever. And that's the reason why I'm putting it on my channel, so we don't miss nothing. Okay, and we're going to talk about it. So yeah, they are right now taking a 15-minute recess or whatever, and then they will be returning back in the courtroom. Also, in the meantime, while they are doing that, let me check on something else here that I wanted to see the update on La Palma, you guys. The volcano. Remember, I told you all I'm going to continue to let you all know what's going on. Okay, so about 10 minutes ago is the last update, which is very recent, 10 minutes ago. So let me see. Latest news. So what's going on right now, as of a few minutes ago, it says the volcano into the 8th week. So now it's 8 weeks going on. And 18 earthquakes has registered in La Palma overnight. And this is the largest with a magnitude over 4.0. So now here we go. There we go. There starts. It's already making it informing of that tsunami. Okay. 18 earthquakes registered in La Palma. So basically, this is just some of the images, you all. I want to play this video, but I don't want it to mess up the live. But it says President Sanchez announces $18.8 million in aid to farmers and fishermen, in addition to tax exemptions for victims of eruption who have lost a dwelling. So I'm pretty sure they've lost homes and stuff. Yeah. Schools, okay, in 5 boroughs of La Palma will remain closed on Tuesday. Okay, so we know all that still is going on. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to see how intense it's getting. Okay. So it's getting more and more intense. So again, you guys pay attention on the East Coast. Pay attention on the East Coast with your loved ones. Okay. Yeah. So while we're still waiting on them to come back in the courtroom, you all. It's something else that I wanted to touch on about the Travis Scott concert and all the people that died and lost their lives, and RIP to those that lost their lives, and also prayers are with them, the families of the victims, you guys, because the more I am finding out and researching on that story as well, the more demonic it gets, you guys. Okay, on some whole nother shit. Allegedly, it from the stage to everything that was going on, from the smoke that was put out in the air, you all, just everything about it was very, very demonic. Okay, very. And so allegedly Travis Scott has refunded, has offered, refund everybody as he should, all of their money or whatever, and they have also canceled the shows that are coming up this weekend in Las Vegas. They've already canceled those, so I'm pretty sure those people will get their money back as well. Also, allegedly, him, Travis Scott, Drake, and I think somebody else, they're being sued. Okay. So, yeah, these people want someone to be held accountable because we're talking about someone as young as from a 14-year-old all the way up to 27 years old of the 8 people died. And I saw a couple of videos where them people was hollering and screaming and shit, y'all, and telling them to stop the show. They was telling big and pleading, stop the show. Stop the show. Somebody's dead. They're dead. Somebody's dead. Stop the show. They're dead. I watched that man just basically ignore them and kept on right on going, you know. The producer, not the producer, it was the cameraman in the back that they were trying to get his attention backstage. And yeah, it was bad. And allegedly the stuff that was coming out in the air, the smoke or whatever, they're saying that there was a lot of some shit going on in that area, y'all. I don't know what they was putting out there. And also allegedly back to the needle, it started with someone being pricked in the poking people with needles, and what I don't know what was in the needles. Allegedly, that's how it all started. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. All I know is it just gave me all kind of demonic vibes and Illuminati shit and rituals up in that motherfucker. Okay, allegedly, you can look at it and just it just spoke all that. Okay, so just wake up, pay attention to that as well. Stay woke on that, y'all. But yeah, so we are live in the courtroom. If you guys are just tuning in or coming in on this video, I am live in the courtroom, going live in the courtroom on the Ahmaud Arbery trial, murder trial with Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Rody Bryan on trial for the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Videos have already been, a lot of evidence have been presented. And I have the first video that I'm going to be uploading, you guys, it's like 3 hours long. A lot. I'm telling y'all, the video, everything. And so this is part 2 after they came back from lunch and all that good stuff. So right now they're on a 15-minute break. Let me check something. Yeah, they're still on a 15-minute break on this one here. So we're just waiting for them to come back, and get back to it. They were just in the first video, as I was saying, a lot of that no one rendered aid to him, and it's what the family was upset about, to have to watch that and then watch no one render aid and just let him lay there and just die, So yeah, it's crazy. And now at least I'm glad that this officer that is on the stand now is telling the truth and basically telling them what he observed and what was said as soon as he pulled up, and how they were talking, what they were doing. He said they was Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael were both pacing, kind of walking back and forth. When he first pulled up, he said he immediately turned on his body cam as soon as he got out so that he could capture the footage of him investigating and asking questions to what was going on. Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael, allegedly, that's when they started when he asked him, a couple of questions, and he said, he told him that he chased him down or whatever. But then in the defense, they lied. They're saying that they didn't chase him down, that he basically ran towards them. So that went out, that was a whole lie, and now they just got caught in the lie. So I'm glad that police officer, I'm so glad he didn't, fall for all the coughing that was going on, trying to distract him in the background, because when he took that stand, And you guys can pay attention to that video. It was so much coughing going on in the background as to they were trying to tell him something or a signal or something. That's what I got out of all the coughing and stuff, and it wasn't just one person coughing. And this is what was so crazy, you guys. It was just like a damn domino effect, like, and then this and like, okay, so, well, damn, y'all might well stand up and just point over and tell them something after a while. You're gonna do all that damn coughing and hitting and shit, allegedly. But it's in the video, y'all. Just pay attention. Because, see, I pay attention to everything. Every detail, gestures, movements, body language. I pay attention to everything, okay? And this is in real life for me. This is not just during this trial. I do this on a regular, honey. Very observative. It's nothing can get shit over on me. Okay. So yeah, that's that. I wanted to kind of briefly talk on that while we are waiting. And again, I want to thank my moderator, Latasha Parker, for holding it down, being the loyal moderator, and always have, coming on and representing and supporting. But Cynt said it. If you're going to support Cynt, said it, support Cynt, said it consistently, not part-time or half-time, or if you're upset at me for whatever reason. If you're a supporter, be a supporter. And don't be a hater all your life, okay? So I just had to point that out and get that out there as well. Okay, so yes, all my sensations, you all hit that like button, share the live, because again, we are going live in the courtroom of the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial. Okay, I'm going to keep y'all update on everything. Okay, everything. Yes. So yeah, also, hold on. It was something else that I want to touch on that I saw in the headlines. Actually, it was sent to me. My son sent it to me, actually. It was Gladys Knight's son went to prison for something, you all. And I said I was going to do more research on it and find out what the hell is up with that. So Gladys Knight's son was sentenced to prison. When I saw it, so I think I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. He was sentenced to prison and he got to pay $1 million for the chicken and waffles restaurant taxes. So they're saying allegedly he's back. He'll back pay on taxes, and that's why he went to jail. So let me pull this up and see what's going on with that. So it says after years of dragging his legendary mother's name through the mud over shady business practices, Shanga Hankerson, the son of soul singer Gladys Knight, is headed to federal prison. So it says that Hankerson, the former owner of the Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles restaurant in Atlanta, was sentenced to prison over tax issues at the once famed restaurant became. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me go back. He was sentenced to prison over tax issues at the once famed restaurant because he failed to remit payroll taxes, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office on Friday, which Fox 5 reported. Okay. So it says that Hankerson willingly disregarded his tax obligations for many years, y'all. Acting U.S. Attorney Kirk Erkstein said that in an email statement to the AJC payroll taxes fund social insurance programs, including Social Security and Medicare, and are a large source of revenue for the federal government. Employers who fail to comply with their legal obligation will be held accountable. Okay, so that's what they're saying. That's what he was sentenced to prison for. According to the report, 45-year-old Hankerson will serve 2 years in prison, 1 year of supervised released, and he will also have to pay back restitution of $1.3 million, you all, for failing to fully remit payroll taxes from 2012 to 2016. Okay, back on July 21st, Hankerson pleaded guilty. The AJC reports that although Hankerson used his famous mother's name and likeness to promote the business, according to information presented in court, he was the sole business owner of the establishment that he started in 1997. He ultimately opened locations in northern Georgia and Washington, D.C., you all. So while ownership of a well-known restaurant in our community has its perks, it also comes with great responsibilities, okay? And said that's what the IRS criminal investigation said. Okay, so it's not funny, but they said paying taxes is a way of giving back to the community. But unfortunately, Hankerson chose to choose those funds for other means. Now, I want to stop right there because just like they sit up there and locked him up and lock a lot of our brothers up for not paying their taxes. So then why in the hell Trump and the rest of them over there not locked up for not paying their damn taxes then? Huh? Hello, make it make sense. Allegedly, he's only paid about $700 some damn dollars. What about the rest of them that's not paying taxes? So are they supposed to be who gonna go after their ass and lock them up? Allegedly, huh? So they don't went after her son and sentenced him, and now he gone locked up. I'm telling you, it's something, you guys. So we are going to go back into the courtroom. Let me share my screen. It looks like they're back, you guys. I'm just in time. Let's get back in the courtroom. Okay.
Discussing something, can I just make the record complete on an issue involving Sophia? The objection I have to Olivier standing up and saying another witness will testify to the angle comment essentially was made. I objected on the basis that trial counsel was testifying. The court has not sustained that yet in front of the jury. I'd like to get the court to sustain that objection and hear it. That would be my request.
Restate to the jury that statements made by counsel is no evidence, and go ahead and do that.
Great. You said it was something like there was an objection. I sustained the objection. We have a record of it, unless you, and then make that curative would be great.
So, Judge, it was the state's understanding that that was a part of the stipulation between the state and Mr. Goff, is that it was not mentioned to then Officer Minshew, but that it was mentioned to another investigator or detective in the case.
How about stipulation? This witness never used that word.
So therein lies the problem with stipulations, ladies and gentlemen. I will remind the panel that any that questions made or statements by counsel are not evidence in the case, and they should not be considered as such as they have been previously instructed. And I go back to my statement about stipulations. If you're going to stipulate, I would suggest we not do that as a negotiation on the record with the jury present, and then blurt out what a stipulation is until all the parties know what the stipulation is. My preference is that
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep forgetting about that.
Absolutely
My bad.
no question what the stipulation is, and we can proceed from there. So I repeated what I said before the break. I will remind the panel of the court's preliminary instruction on statements and questions by counsel. Is the state ready to proceed with this next witness?
Yes, Judge, just for clarification purposes. Mr. Hope just brought to my attention that one of the statements that Officer Brandon Berry will be testifying to is that a bystander came up and asked Greg McMichael, did he have a gun? And Greg McMichael said, no, I don't think so. I didn't see one. Greg McMichael then finishes that sentence with, but he attacked my son. The state's problem is, but he attacked my son has absolutely nothing to do with the knowledge of did he have a gun or not. And I think we're going to maybe get into a rule of completeness issue. So I just wanted to bring it to the court's attention that they're going to claim rule of completeness. And I'm going to say that has absolutely nothing to do with whether Greg McMichael said Mr. Arbery had a gun or not.
Sounds like we need to resolve the issue.
Right. And so I guess at this time, you're asking to be in and I'm asking that it be held out. And I guess we need a ruling.
Consider the basis for each.
I didn't hear you.
Consider the basis for each. Okay.
And the basis for the state is that it is not a rule of completeness. It's not necessary to explain Greg McMichael's statement to this bystander who simply asked, did he have a gun? And the answer was, no, I don't. I'm paraphrasing here. No, I don't think so. I don't believe he did. But he attacked my son. But he attacked my son has absolutely nothing to do with the answer of did the victim have a gun or not. And that's the basis for it not being part of the rule of completeness. It's not necessary to explain that particular statement. It's not part of the context.
It misleads the jury if left hanging like that in this way, Your Honor. At several places, Mr. Greg McMichael says that he suspected or believed, or even talking later in the day to Officer Marcy, that he had a gut feeling, which Marcy used the word hunch, that Mr. Arbery may have been armed that day. Then we know after Mr. Arbery was shot, fell to the pavement, Mr. McMichael, Greg McMichael, pulled his arm out from under his body to see if he had a weapon in it. And at that point, saw that he was not holding a weapon. So that's the full context of it, that he wasn't sure if he was armed or not, but after he pulled his hand out, he knew he was not, or at least he believed he was not holding a firearm, because that's how he got blood. Greg McMichael, got blood on himself is because he pulled Mr. Arbery's arm out to see if he was holding a firearm. And the 24-1106 says, when a writing or recorded statement or part thereof is introduced by a party, an adverse party may require the introduction at that time of any other part or any other writing or recorded statement, which, in fairness, should be considered contemporaneously with the writing or recorded statement. And then over at 24-8-822, that rule says when an admission is given in evidence by one party, it shall be the right of the other party to have the whole admission and all the conversation connected therewith admitted into evidence. The part at issue is when Brandeberry is talking to Greg McMichael, some other unknown, I think non-law enforcement person, bystander, has come up and can be heard on Brandeberry's body cam talking to Greg McMichael. At that point, I think Brandeberry is actually talking to Christy Rozier, who's either the coroner or an assistant coroner. And so the male speaker is talking to Greg McMichael. And the male speaker says, so the guy have a gun? And Greg McMichael says to this male speaker, not the officer, no, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell if it's one on him or not, but he attacked my son. And then there's overlapping conversation because Brandeberry, the officer, is speaking to Christy Rozier from the coroner's office. And Christy Rozier is saying her name, hey, Christy, coroner's office, talking to Brandeberry. And then the transcript has the male speaker still talking to Greg McMichael. Oh, really? That's in response to he attacked my son. And then Greg McMichael says, yeah, he came at him. The next line is Brandeberry speaking to Christy Rozier from the coroner's office. Yes, ma'am. And then Mr. McMichael, still speaking to the male speaker, tried to get the damn shotgun away. So either all of that comes in or none of it should, because he's not even speaking to a police officer at this point. He's speaking to some other person being recorded by the police officer's body cam. So therein lies the dispute. The state simply wants to have the male speaker asking Mr. Greg McMichael, so the guy have a gun. They want this in through the officer. And then Greg McMichael saying, only no, I don't know. Even though there's the rest of this conversation between Greg McMichael and unknown male speaker, not the officer. So our position is either none of it comes in or all of that comes in that I just read.
Final word from the state as the proponent.
Explaining to this other unknown male person that, oh, he attacked my son, he tried to get the shotgun away, has absolutely nothing to do with his knowledge with the original question, which is, did he have a gun on him? I don't know.
Absolutely.
They're not related at all and are not necessary to put it into context, especially the statement that Greg McMichael did not know that did not know whether Mr. Arbery had a handgun on him or not.
Just to say in further context here,
I'm going to object. I'm sorry, Your Honor. At this point, the state is going to start objecting when they want the last bite of the apple every single time.
Yeah, I've heard the arguments, counsel.
all right,
Move in, response, and move in, so reply.
Yeah, pay attention, you guys. Pay attention to what is going on. This judge tried, I don't know. Just pay attention to him also, you all.
this is not a neat response, but there is one other one that's related to it. When you're ready, I'll bring up.
So they're not going to tell us what he's typing. I want to, what is he typing? What's going on? His response. Okay. So what is going on right now is that they are trying to see what evidence needs to be presented and what should not be presented.
So we're using the rule of completeness. It's a declaration made by one of the defendants. I guess it can be described as a self-serving declaration. Under the rule of completeness, the court's going to exclude it, having heard the arguments of counsel as presented here.
I cannot hear you.
Okay, it's on. Under the rule of completeness, the court is not going to permit it. It being as the court understands then, what the state's argument is, and I didn't hear this, but this is what I heard from the argument, that it's a self-serving declaration that's made as part of that statement. All right. Specifically under the rule of completeness, the court is not going to permit that statement under those circumstances. So I'll permit the first part of the statement. That's not saying that that statement is just completely excluded. If there's a different way of doing it, so be it. But based on the arguments presented.
Could I add to that for your consideration one other place in the transcript where we don't have an agreement here, but it's related to the same topic. It's 6 pages earlier in the transcript. The state has indicated the part they plan to introduce through the officer is Mr. Greg McMichael describing what he was doing after he saw Mr. Arbery run past him while he was at his house. And they have highlighted the part, I haul ass into my bedroom to get my .357 Magnum. And then they skip the lines and have the next thing he says, I don't take any chances. And what they skipped over, and we didn't reach an agreement pre-trial, was this, the transcript, page 21, line 22. He says, these are the words Greg McMichael says, because we don't know if this guy's armed, because the other night, the guy stuck his hands down his pants. Now, for Bruton purposes, as we've done in other places in this very transcript, we would change we to I, so he doesn't implicate anything regarding Travis McMichael's knowledge. I mean, we'd be fine with we, but obviously for Bruton purposes, that was a concern to the state. So if it was to read, again, as the state has suggested we do other places, changing we to I.
Get that page. I can just look at it.
Yes.
I'm listening to you, but it's hard to follow. It'd be easier to see it on the
It
page.
is true. Oh, you have, I'm sorry.
I don't.
Oh, I thought that the state provided all this to the court.
If I had everything the parties provided to me in this case, you would not be
I
able to see
thought you were looking at it. I would not what?
it. You would not be able to see me.
Taller than the witness. Your Honor, to expedite this, the state will take out the line, I don't take any chances.
Well, that's not the one concerns me as much as the one before it, and in connection with the one we just had a ruling on.
Sorry. Get me back there because it looks like this was,
So if you go to page 21,
it was closed, so I thought it was open. I don't know which page it was. 21.
yeah, page 21, beginning at line 17, and I'll just wait till you have a chance to read that paragraph.
So the judge is reading right now. That's what's going on. I know. For my podcast on Spreaker,
So I'm looking at highlights here. What are these highlights?
that's what's going on.
Yellow is, and I'm gonna, if I can tag Al, this all occurred while I was in the middle of my death penalty trial between my co-counsel and Ms. Danakoski. And so if she could explain the color coding, that would help.
That would be helpful.
The yellow was the indication we received from the state as to what they intended to introduce out of these statements. The red was our indication back to the state as to what we believe should come in under the rule of completeness. The comment boxes to the right indicate whether the state agreed or disagreed. Am I saying that correctly?
No, the red was,
There's no red.
right, and on this page, there's no red, there's other red within the transcript.
All right, pink.
And the blue, so what you handed the judge is yellow and blue, I believe. So the blue was what the defense counsel wanted in as rule of completeness, the yellow was what the state was tendering in. So when, Your Honor, you look at, because we don't know if this guy's armed, because the other night the guy stuck his hands down his pants, is what defense counsel wishes to put in to this segment based on rule of completeness.
That's correct. I had to change the ones we printed. Your Honor, the blue was very difficult to read through. So I agree with Ms.
In
Danakoski.
fact, are you able to read the blue? Yeah.
It's a light blue on my transcript.
Okay. We changed ours to pink.
Yeah, I'm not going to permit. There's a couple of things going on. It looks like it's two separate thoughts, but then we start getting into Travis grabs. This is Greg McMichael talking about what Travis is doing. separate co-defendants.
We didn't highlight Travis grabs his shotgun part. We did not highlight that. We weren't asking for him to read that.
But the issue, though, is that it implies, but the full statement is Travis grabs his shotgun because we don't know if this guy's armed. You want to change the statement simply to, I don't know if this guy's armed because the other night. The context is lost because he's talking about Travis and the shotgun and why the firearm was grabbed. He's assuming that Travis's thoughts are because Travis had seen the couple nights prior. This is the way I'm reading it, or it can be read. A couple nights prior that he stuck his hands into his pocket, I think it was, or down his pants. And there's that interaction where Travis thinks he may have had a gun a few nights earlier. That's what this is talking about, as opposed to what Greg McMichael was doing at the time. So that's the issue I have, and I can see where I can understand where the Bruton issue comes up with that.
Yeah, just to further clarify, though, he's explaining why both he and Travis grabbed firearms, and so this actually completes the answer to why did you hit your .357 Magnum, and then he adds in that the reason I got my gun is the same reason Travis got his shotgun. So it does apply to him as well.
No, the court's not going to let it because there's other parts of this that also, in order to give it additional context, we start getting into Bruton because there's other right in the middle of this. So I'll use the language in the transcript, not my language. I haul ass back to the house, back in the house, and I said, "Travis, this guy's running down the street. Let's go, let's go, let's go." That's a quote. So I haul into my bedroom to get my .357. Talks about it being a Glenn County PD issue.
Your Honor, it kind of leaves it hanging out there without context, as if he went to get his gun to
pay attention.
do this chasing and executing.
I'm working through. I'm trying to figure out how in this transcript you can start parsing that down.
Yeah, tell him, Judge.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of reading it out.
Yeah. He's seeing straight through the fuckery. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to say that. Okay, for those that's on the Spreaker, he's reading.
The way I see it, to but to alleviate any Bruton issues, it would be to add in language because I don't know if this guy's armed.
That was our suggestion, and I believe the state.
Well, you went into because the other night the guy stuck his hands in. That would be that then is mixing the two together, at least to me reading the transcript.
It's the copy I gave you, but it's not ours, Your Honor. And I apologize, there's so many floating around. I really thought you had the set, but that is what we were asking for, what you just described.
What I heard was the continuation of that is because the other night the guy stuck his hands in down his pants. That's what Travis McMichael saw.
That's the explanation for why Greg McMichael got his gun. And so it's not offered for the truth of anything, it's not hearsay. It's to explain, it's to put in context and answer the question, why did you run back into your bedroom, Mr. Greg McMichael, and grab your .357 Magnum? Let's say that's a question.
I don't know if this guy was armed.
Well, no, because he thinks that he may be armed, because the other night his son saw him make the spurted movement.
I understand that, but yeah, no, the court will permit for completeness the explanation is because I don't know if this guy's armed. Beyond that, to me, the court you'd have to take additional steps to make the assumptions that are being implied.
I'm trying to figure out how that puts the, how it actually does put it into its proper context. Because if the question is, why did you get your gun, Mr. McMichael? And the answer that's now being allowed is, because I don't know if this guy's armed, if it doesn't make any sense. Why would you grab your gun if you don't know that he's armed?
I'm assuming it will make sense with the evidence, because what I heard in opening statements is that the defense or somebody's going to get into Travis McMichael a couple nights before and what happened at the outhouse, or the porta potty, or whatever you want to call the red structure.
And that will happen, I do suspect, but I'm arguing right now about just what this next witness is going to leave the jury with, and it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be misleading. The reason it's going to be misleading is because we're not giving it its proper, complete context.
That's on the record. I appreciate the argument. Again, the court's ruled. We'll go ahead and add that in for completeness, but the rest of it, the court has already stated on the record its concerns about the
part's okay, just so I don't step, unless the state's going to do it, is now cause I don't know if this guy's armed. That part's okay.
Whose transcript do I have? All right.
Maybe one more. The other one I'm concerned about that we mentioned, I just want to highlight, make sure the court followed me on this, is that the page 27. Oh, here it is. All right. This is the one you didn't have the benefit of the transcript for a moment ago, and it might be helpful. It's at the very bottom of page 27. And actually, the male speaker appears all the way over. He comes up around page 26, around line 15. And from 26, line 15 on, Greg McMichael is actually talking to a bystander while Brandenberry is talking to other people. But he's close enough to Greg McMichael that he's picking him up on his body cam. I'm sorry?
Nobody has any idea who this person is?
I don't.
Nobody picked it up from the body cam?
It's not Brandenberry.
It's not Brandenberry. I don't know. If you're watching the body cam, you see a civilian walking up to the crime tape or near it, talking to Greg McMichael, but I don't know who it is. I don't think he's got it in the case anywhere.
And why hasn't this come up before? What the hell?
Oh, you want me to keep going? So, as you can see, if you go to page 26, I thought you were reading, I'm sorry. Middle of page 26, male speaker is up here talking to Greg McMichael. And at this point, Brandenberry's not interviewing him anymore. He's not speaking to him. And so when you get to the bottom of page 27, you should have a yellow highlight there at line 25, which indicates this is what the state wants to have Brandenberry read. And I suppose they want him to read male speaker. And so the jury's going to hear him read male speaker. And up above that, there's a section, on mine it's pink, I'm guessing on yours it's light blue. The state wants to put in a section, and I think we did try to expand this to give further context, but it's the same problem. It's Greg McMichael talking to some other person who's not law enforcement. So, and he's not a witness in the case. So our position would be from 26, line 19, which the state and I had an email exchange over the weekend about expanding the context all the way through page 28 line, wherever Brandenburg is talking, actually it's going to be all of that. The next one is page 31, line 4. That's where Christy Rozier is talking to Greg McMichael, and she's possibly is a witness in the case, and she's the coroner. So anything from page 26, line 19, through all the way up to the page 31, line 4, where the state's going to pick it up next, should be out because it's not a law enforcement officer talking to him. I don't have that witness. You know, it's not a witness who's going to be here testifying. These wouldn't be the witness's words to Greg McMichael. It'd be some other unknown person.
If I may, Your Honor, this is just like a jail phone call. It's the statement of Greg McMichael. He's talking to some unknown person. So what if we don't know who the unknown person is? It is the statement of Greg McMichael being questioned by a male speaker. It's caught on body cam. Brandon Berry is standing right there. He's watched his body cam video. He's checked it against this particular transcript. And with regard specifically to, I guess, the first thing the defense attorneys for Greg McMichael are asking for is for all this to be out, which the state disagrees with. The second thing is that I did agree that on page 26, I would go ahead and put in context that the male speaker says, I was concerned that it might have been that drunk guy that lives up here on the corner in that house on the far right-hand side. He's always walking in the road. Greg says, that one that kind of shuffles? Yeah. And Greg says, yeah, no, this ain't no shuffler. This guy's an asshole. I mean, he was hooked up when he came around the street. And then I agreed to, was he walking? And then Greg McMichael says, no, running flat out. I don't know where he was coming from down there. So these are the statements of Greg McMichael. They come in and the state agreed to begin on line 22 on page 26 to continue this on to actually give it context over and above just starting off with this guy's an asshole. I mean, he was hooked up when he came around that street. So that's what the state's looking to put before the jury in context. And defense contacted me over the weekend, said, can we put it in context? I said, sure, we'll add the shuffler part in without a problem. So the state's going to agree to that, to put that in context. But these are the statements of Greg McMichael. It doesn't matter that we don't know who he's speaking to. It's captured on body cam, overheard by Officer Brandon Berry, who's reviewed it for accuracy, and it comes in.
Onward.
Yes, sir. For the rule of completeness, just to emphasize what it should be doing, the concern is it's not that it lets in otherwise inadmissible evidence. It does do that, but that's the very purpose for the rule. And I think when the court said earlier that it was self-serving and therefore it's inadmissible, the rule of completeness, the very idea of it is evidence I could not introduce through a witness initially because it's self-serving. Say that Brandon Berry's up there and I want to get in a bunch of exculpatory stuff. I couldn't do that unless under 822 it's to complete the context for the statement the state has picked out of the conversation and has introduced because it is inculpatory. And so saying, as they do, that Mr. McMichael says to the male speaker when asked, do you have a gun? No, I don't know, is out of context. It's incomplete. Yes, it would be self-serving to say, I thought, if I was doing it initially, I thought the guy was armed because of what happened the other night. But when the state picks out, no, I don't believe he had a gun, and just leaves it hanging out there out of context, the rule of completeness comes in and says, okay, it might have been otherwise inadmissible, but now it's admissible. So that's our argument. It should come in just to give the proper meaning to the words picked out by the state to use against Greg McMichael. To the extent that this spills over on Travis McMichael, even though we're trying to be very careful about Bruton, we adopt the rule and the law that the Greg McMichael's attorney is giving to the court, and would ask that the court allow a more complete statement to complete the rule.
just going to read through this and see what it actually says.
He is reading, you guys, for my podcast on Spreaker. And the rest of the audio live that is going on. The judge is reading, going over.
Let me just make sure I understand what I'm looking at too. So with these body cams, basically the reason that these have been all cut up the way they're cut up are the Bruton issues, correct?
No, sir. No, sir. That's not true. The reason they're cut up is because the state is cherry picking the parts of the statement at once, allowing for the Bruton issue. So I've never seen defendant statements picked apart like they are, but it's like 1/10 of their statements are being put into evidence, and we're asking for the rest of the statements that finish the answers coming.
As far as the McMichaels go, I don't even see a problem here. But that was the concern the state had, and so we're trying to roll with it. And so that's why we're bringing up completeness, because, okay, if we're going to pick out little, as you can see, if you just look at the pages and you look for the highlighted parts, it's just little pieces here and there throughout a pretty lengthy body cam. And context is critical here.
That's right. We need all the evidence. We don't want bits and pieces.
Like and not give them a fuller context, which sometimes requires the whole conversation, but we can't do that. I get that.
I can take us in the back and sit down and take a look at it instead of having everyone sitting here waiting on me to read through it. I'm going to read through it. Not the whole transcript, but the portions we're talking about. Come back, make a ruling on it.
I think just one other thing. The state actually said, hey, we're just going to play everything. That includes Mr. Bryan's statements to Seacrest. And at that point in time, I got a no. That's a Bruton violation. We cannot waive Bruton, and we're refusing to waive Bruton. That's what I got from the defense attorneys. At which point in time, I filed a Bruton motion, and at that point in time, I asked them, what is it you don't want me to say? And at that time, they said, no, state, you need to tell us what it is you want. So this complaint now that I'm cherry picking their statements, they said, what is it you want in? And I said, this is what I want in. I sent these off to them. They marked them up. I sent back with my comments. This has been going on all of September, October. And we've now spent 45 minutes dealing with something that was supposed to be done a while ago.
I obviously read the motion. It came up in May, I think, at the motion hearing. I understood it'd be figured out amongst the parties. Sounds like it hasn't been. I'll say this. It kind of cuts both ways with this. I understand the Bruton issues. I understood that we were going to be addressing the Bruton problems in the transcripts. I'll be very candid. The way that the body cam narrative was presented through Minshew, with the way these things are cut up, makes things at times difficult to digest. That's why as I'm sitting here looking at it, I want to take a read through and make sure I understand exactly what the context is, because I'm not sure all of the context was appreciated. And I'll, again, be very candid about it. That's a double-edged sword for the parties. But the court does want the best evidence before the panel that we can get before the panel. So I'm going to take a look at the transcript and make sure I understand exactly what's going on here before we take it any further.
Your Honor, we'll see it not only for Greg McMichael, but also for Travis McMichael. There's an extensive interview with Travis McMichael, not yet on the table. Same issue applies, and it's going to be more of the same thing that we're going to have to bring to the court's attention.
Well, this is just rule of completeness on the statements that the state is asking to present. So that's all I'm addressing right now with this witness. There are two. The one that I ruled on, I'm going to go back and think that through, make sure I understand exactly what the context is, and I'll come back with a ruling. Yes.
Your Honor, so far, I don't think that Kowski and I have had any real issues. That could change, I suppose, but I think the lawyers are working really hard to work through these issues.
Well, I don't doubt that. But as was demonstrated by the stipulation, sometimes one person believes that they've agreed to one thing and another believes they've agreed to another. So that's the nature of the beast, which requires the court to take a recess. We just may keep everybody available over the next 10 minutes or so.
All right. I'm going to mute that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Just want to talk about it. Okay. Okay, so the judge, pay attention to him, you guys. One moment, you know, he's trying to be as fair as possible. I see, he's seeing through a lot of the fuckery though, with the defense. He's seeing it. But it's still some stuff. You just pay attention, you guys, and what's going on and what's being asked. And just like she just said, the prosecution just said, you know, they basically had this been going on for September and October. And so now here we are. And we spent 45 minutes on something that should have been resolved. They know what they're doing. They want to go through bits and pieces of that body cam and take out this and take out that that's going to hurt them. But they want to put in and leave in what's going to help them. No, the whole damn body cam needs to be presented and showed. Okay. Not bits and pieces, not this and that. No, I don't give a damn how lengthy it is. Because like the prosecution said, it needs to be seen. You know, so again, they're going through what parts of pieces of evidence that needs to be presented and what don't need to be presented. Okay. So yeah, they're taking a 10-minute break, you guys. While they're taking their 10-minute break, I think what I'm going to do, hold on, let's see something. Yeah. And again, you guys, that is on my Spreaker podcast channel of the app, and also Spotify and all the rest of the apps audio. Make sure to hit the like button. Okay, there is a like button also on the Spreaker app and the other apps as well. You guys download the content as well so that you can have it to listen to. Yeah, so and if you have not downloaded the Spreaker app, go ahead and do so. I will drop the link in the content and the comment after the video. I'll do that so that it will be in the comments, you guys. So yeah, you all can tune in on Spreaker, and that is audio only. There's no video on those other major platforms. Okay, you will only get the video over here on YouTube, y'all. Okay, only on YouTube. So while we wait, let's see what else is going on, because I'm pretty sure something else is going on. I'm always got content and breaking news here and there. So let me go be nosy, and while we wait on them to come back, we got to see what else going on, you all. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so well, it looks like that's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So the Las Vegas Raiders released Damon Arnett after footage surfaces of him waving firearms and threatening to murder somebody. On everything I love, I will. He said, "You nigga." So let me repeat that again. Las Vegas Raiders released Damon Arnett after footage surfaces of him waving firearms and threatening to kill somebody. Well, I can't say that. I'm sorry. I was trying to say that, but threatening to do something to somebody, allegedly, and this is what, quote unquote, he said, "On everything I love, I will. You nigga." So we already know what he said. And that was it. All NFL needed to see. They done released him. Gone. Out of there. Out of there. Okay? Out of there. Another story going on, you all. A black teen went missing on school's JROTC field trip, and authorities have no leads to her whereabouts. It's a young girl, you guys. This shit, I'll tell you. And I'm gonna have to follow up with that and find out what's going on with that. So she went missing. Okay, that's crazy. That is crazy. So allegedly Offset and his team involved in a fist fight at Complex Hunt. So they got a video of them. Hold on. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Wait a minute. Let me let y'all see this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me pull this up. Y'all give me a second. I'm about to pull this up. What is Offset? Offset them over there clowning. Let's see. Let's see. I'm sharing my screen. Hold on. Let me share my screen so y'all can see too. While they on their 10-minute break over there. Let's make sure they ain't back first. No, they ain't back. Okay. Let's go over here. To the Shade Room. Shout out to the Shade Room. Okay. Shout out to the Shade Room. Where they at? Oh, here it is. So, yep, Offset and his team were allegedly involved in a physical altercation during Complex Con. Let me go to the video. Hold on. The video. Where is the video? Or maybe we don't need to see it then. They must have just took it down. Allegedly, I guess they took it down. But yeah, so they don't want us to see it. I just saw it on my phone. And took it down just that quick. Okay, well, let me stop sharing my screen. I guess y'all gonna have to do y'all own research and go find that video. I'll sit and get them hands put on look like. Okay, let's see what else going on. So a man punches a woman in her face and fractures her jaw after she refuses to give him her number. Hold on. What is, you know what? Now, where the hell was this at? Police are hunting for a man who punched a woman in the face and fractured her jaw after she refused to give him her number. The 21-year-old spent several days in hospital following the attack during a night out in London's West End. Wow. So this was in London. The victim had left the nightclub with a female friend in early hours of November 1st when they were approached by a man near Piccadilly Circus who was very flirty and attempted to get their phone numbers, police said. So the pair pretended they were girlfriends in an attempt to get the man to lead them along, but they allegedly made a homophobic remark and punched one of the women in the face, knocking her to the ground and fracturing her jaw. The other woman was smacked on the bottom by a second unknown man, police said, and this has been recorded as a sexual assault. Okay. So the police have now released images of a man they wish to speak to in connection with the incident. Okay. So the suspect accused of throwing a punch is described as a tall, muscular black man who spoke with what they have been an American accent, may have been an American accent. He was wearing a black bumper jacket with a large logo or other graphic on the back. Police said inquiries continue in relation to the second suspect. Detective Sergeant Mo Osman of the Metropolitan Police said after leaving a nightclub in the West End, so it was in West End, the two women had been approached by a man in the street whom they described as being very flirty and trying to get their phone numbers when told that their pair, so this, in other words, they just went on to repeat what he had said. Okay. So that's it. That's crazy. So just because she didn't want to give him the phone number, he continued to harass her. So they had to play like they were girlfriends, and he got mad about that and knocked the shit out of her. What kind of, all you had to do was mind his business and leave them girls alone. What is wrong? Okay, this shit crazy. That shit is crazy. All you had to do was leave him alone. Just because she didn't want to give the number. Yeah, he gonna bully her into giving him the goddamn number. Now you done fracture her damn jaw. You thought that was gonna make her fucking give you the number? God damn, what the hell? Okay. Let's go and see and check. I know it's been 10 minutes since they've been gone. They have not came back. So let's move on. Let's see what else breaking news we got going on. So okay, so they said that Yellow Bee's assault case was submitted back in August, you guys, that allegedly DNA tested in August and a warrant was allegedly put out for his arrest. So that's what they saying that happened with Yellow Bees, allegedly. That this was a warrant from August is the reason why he got arrested. Okay. So that's an update on Yellow Beezy. Allegedly, that warrant, that assault case was submitted back in August. Okay. Was put out. So they have been looking for him since August, allegedly. But he is out now. So that's that. Okay. Let's see what else going on. What other breaking news is going on? Let's see. I saw something about Joe Biden finna get somebody else some more goddamn money. All he been doing is giving away money, 1.2 for million for billion for something. I don't know shit. I saw that too. Yeah. Every time I look up, he giving away money to the motherfuckers that who he need to give it to. It's our reparations. Okay, so yeah, this actually the video's gone viral with the Raiders releasing Arnett after that video surfaced of him with the using the saying them threatening somebody, y'all. That's sad. Well, there goes his career, allegedly. So wow. Okay. Also, Kanye done sit up here, y'all, and went public with his new girlfriend that is half his age. And she is a sister, y'all. Shout out to you, Kanye. Then went back to the sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after a rumored summer romance with Irina Shayk, Okay, it looks like Kanye West is moving on with a new woman. Photographer Shane Zisk snapped a pic of Kanye West, 44, sitting courtside with 22-year-old model, okay, Venetria, at his Dundra Academy's debut basketball game, y'all, in Minneapolis. And I wish you all could see the picture of them. They look very cute, y'all. Oh, they look real cute. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share it with y'all. Hold on. Let me send this to my email so I can let y'all see this picture. Yeah, Kanye looking real cozy with this girl, 22 and he 44. Okay, Kanye, I see you. Let me see. Okay, they about to be back in the courtroom, you guys. Hold on. We can deal with Kanye back in the. I'll have it pulled up in a minute.
Male speaker that comes out.
Let me share my screen.
Mysterious male speaker that I assume somebody at some point did figure out. But what I'm going to permit is starting on page 26, starting at line 22. It brings context to what the state wants to get in on line 27. The conversation always is also, I think, in full context down to the end of line 3, page 28, which permit then expanding what these have to is going on. I'm not touching the transcript, all the decisions that were made. This is simply based on.
Yeah, they're having technical difficulties because it is not mine, you guys. It's not me. It's them. And shout out to 11 Live. It's them.
They have those page and lines.
To instruct them to change the we to I.
Do that. Make sure you understand. Because I understand that is the Bruton issue that I don't want to have to go through the process of seeing if there's a waiver on that one sentence. Okay. Does the state understand the court's ruling?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. We go ahead and inform the witness then. Just changing the we to I on the page 25, I think it was. No, it's not 25. I'm sorry. Sorry. 21. That's the changing we to I.
Oh, okay.
He knows that, but I will ask an indulgence on leading in order to make sure we do not violate that Bruton situation.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm going to ask an indulgence on leading in order to make sure we don't violate any Bruton situation.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean, but we'll see.
I understand the context of the question. The court, again, the state needs to take witnesses on direct, but the way this has been done, cutting up this transcript, I'm willing to give the state a little bit of leeway to get the witness to the points in the transcript that we need to get to that have been agreed to by the parties and which the court has now ruled upon. I think that's it. I'm not saying we get to lead the whole time, but in order to move this along and make it clear what we're doing. Okay. Okay. I understand we can now get to the witness. State ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge, the state is ready to proceed. However, we have two witnesses here. One who's a short witness, I believe. Of course, I say that, and I know the danger I'm stepping into. And then we have Officer Brandon Berry, who I now believe will be probably a little longer, given it is 4:22. Would the court prefer I put up Brandon Berry, maybe going to 5:30, or would the court prefer that I put up Adam Jackson right now, who's much shorter?
So the state thinks the Brandon Berry direct is going to be an hour?
I've got 7 pages of questions, so yes, I think it may be.
That answers the question. Now, let's do the short witness, and then it looks like we get to Brandon Berry tomorrow. Do we know who that short witness is?
Yes, Adam Jackson.
Okay. Everybody ready to go on that? Give everybody a chance to adjust their notes. We're gonna need the panel though. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because we need to introduce the witness. Is that? Oh. Is Liddell calling him in? Just stay ready.
No, unfortunately, the state needs a moment to shift for a second.
Don't blow it up.
What are they doing?
Thank you, Judge, for that indulgence. We're now good.
Okay, stay ready to proceed.
Yes, Judge, we are. We're calling. I'll wait till the jury's in.
Okay.
Okay, so the jurors are coming back in, you guys. So let's get back to the witnesses and more evidence.
All right, for the jury. Welcome back. All right, cool. Yeah, let's wait for the state to call the witness. All right, we're ready to proceed with the evidence from the state.
Thank you, Judge. This time the state will call Officer Adam Jackson.
Okay. State's calling their witnesses. You guys pay attention, you all. My sensations, yes. Because we own it over here.
Sure, tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, sir. Go ahead and have a seat.
All right, Officer Jackson, how are you?
I'm good.
Go ahead and state your full name and spell it for our court reporter.
My name is Adam Tyler Jackson, ADAMTYLER JACKSON.
All right, and how are you currently employed?
I am employed by the Glenn County Police Department in Brunswick, Georgia.
All right, and What are your current job duties and responsibilities with the Glenn County Police Department?
I'm a patrol officer, so my job duties include responding to service calls when people call, ask for a police officer, patrol, drive a marked patrol car.
And how long have you been with the Glenn County Police Department?
I started in March 19th, 2019.
Now, have you spent your entire
Rookie.
career in law enforcement with Glenn County?
Yes, I have.
Right. And so you've attended classes and training at the Georgia Peace Officers Standards and Training Council?
Yes, I have.
All right, so you're post-certified.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you have to go through a police academy or did you go through post?
Police Academy.
And have you always been in the patrol division with Glenn County?
Yes.
And what Baker are you in?
Currently, Baker 9.
All right. Back in February of 2020, what Baker were you in?
I believe it was in Baker 11, on the north end of the county.
Now, today you are dressed in a suit. When you are on patrol, how are you usually dressed?
In a standard police officer uniform with, at the time, there was green slacks and a tan uniform shirt, badge on the shirt, name tag.
And normally, when you're driving patrol, are you driving a marked police car?
Yes, big white police car with big police letters on the side, lights on the top.
All right. And you also wear a body cam as part of that.
Yes, I do.
So are you familiar with the Satilla Shores neighborhood here in Glenn County?
I am now.
You are now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And what county is Satilla Shores in?
In Glenn County.
Now, had you ever been called personally to any burglaries or entering autos within the Satilla Shores neighborhood in 2019 into January, February of 2020?
No.
So prior to February of 2020, did you know Mr. William Roddy Bryan?
No, ma'am.
And prior to February of 2020, did you know Travis McMichael?
No, ma'am.
Prior to 2020, did you know Greg McMichael?
No.
All right, so I'm going to draw your attention specifically to the afternoon, Sunday afternoon of February 23rd, 2020, around 1 in the afternoon. Where were you?
I was, again, patrolling the north end of the county towards Jessup, and Officer Minshew was responding to a suspicious call, and at some point on the radio, he said, shots fired. So obviously myself and several other officers all start heading that direction. Want to assist him, make sure he's okay, figure out what's going on. So I started heading that direction, got to the Satilla Shores neighborhood. At the time, I was a fairly new officer, so I took on a role assisting other officers, more experienced officers, with handling things at the scene. My supervisor arrived shortly after that, and he asked me to go speak to any residents, see if anybody witnessed anything or anything like that. That was generally what I was doing.
All right, so how long do you think it took you to get to Satilla Shores where you were at the north end?
Probably 12 minutes, 15 maybe.
All right, so when you got there, were the fire trucks and EMS already there?
I don't recall if they were there or not.
All right, so in preparation for your testimony today, did I meet with you previously?
Yes.
All right, and did I have you look at your body cam video?
I think at the time we hadn't looked at it.
Okay, but have you looked at it since then?
No.
No, you have not seen your body cam video?
No.
Okay. Can I ask you to look at your body cam video and review it?
I'm not sure if we discussed that or not.
All right, so when you arrived at the scene, who was already there?
Officer Minshew was already there, and I believe that Officer Brandon Berry, they either arrived the same time I did or just within a minute or two of me arriving there.
All right. And when you got there, you were in a patrol car.
Yes.
And what did you see as far as the scene itself?
I saw it was a body in the street, and I saw a truck over to the side of the road, and I saw Officer Minshew over where the truck was.
There you go with the grunt and shit.
So what was the task that you were then assigned to do when you arrived on the scene at the corner of Holmes and Satilla Drive on February 23rd, 2020?
My supervisor, Sergeant Leska, he asked me to talk to people that lived in the area, see if there were any witnesses, see if anybody had cameras that maybe faced the street, anything like that. I talked to one gentleman named Diego Perez and asked him if he had any cameras on the exterior of his home. He said he did, and that he would see if he had any kind of camera footage. He returned to me a short time later with a thumb drive memory card, which he said had video footage on it.
All right, so let's go ahead and break that down. You're out of the scene and you're tasked with interviewing witnesses. Was this a witness you picked out or someone who you got directed to?
He approached the area. I talked to several residents, but he was the only one that had anything as far as having the video footage or anything like that. So he was the only one by name that I talked to and got his contact information and all of that.
And when you located him, who was he standing talking to?
I'm not aware of him talking to anybody else.
Okay. And he offered to provide you with a USB sort of jump drive?
Yes, he had a jump drive that he said had camera footage on it.
Okay. And at any point in time, did he ask you permission to go over and talk to Travis McMichael?
I don't recall if he did or not. If he did, I'm sure I would have said to stay where he was at, just, treating it as a scene. So.
All right. And with regard to the USB drive, did you actually collect that later from Mr. Diego?
Yes, I did.
All right. Now, you didn't review the footage on that jump drive.
No, in a situation like that, I knew that we were going to have investigators respond, so I went ahead and just held on to that so I could give it to them.
All right. And once you obtained that USB jump drive, handed over to the investigators, what then did you do at the scene?
At the scene, I helped, we put up crime scene tape, got a crime scene log, which is just a sheet of paper where we write down everybody that's been on the other side of the crime scene tape. Got some other officers needed water, bug spray, things like that.
Right. And did you write a brief report in conjunction with the homicide of Ahmaud Arbery?
Yes, I did.
And your body cam video, did you upload that to the system at the Glenn County Police Department?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to make sure. You haven't looked at your body cam video?
I have not reviewed it. No.
All right. Will you be able to review it overnight if I ask you to?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. One moment, John. If you're able to watch about 1 minute of that body cam footage, would you be able to recognize it and authenticate it as your body cam footage?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I guess I apologize. I'm going to ask the jury to step out so we can authenticate this body cam footage.
We'll stipulate to its authenticity.
So Mr. Goff has stipulated to its authenticity and there's stipulation?
For Greg McMichael, we stipulate.
All right. At this time, the state will tender into evidence. State's Exhibit 329.
No objection then from the defense.
Okay.
It's admitted.
All right. So I'm going to direct your attention to the screen right there. We're going to go ahead and look at about the first 55 seconds. All right. voice?
Yes, ma'am,
You
that's me.
recognize it?
Yep.
All right.
Hello, sir. Did you see any of what happened? You didn't see anything. You got video. You got video of it?
Probably have been running down here.
Okay. Can I get your name? You got your ID or anything like that?
And I can throw it on USB.
That'd be great.
So who's the man that we're seeing right here that you're talking to?
That is Diego Perez.
That is Diego Perez. And who is he standing next to? Do you know?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. So I'm going to also go ahead and show you. I'll show you what's been marked as 317. So take a look at 317 and see if you're able to go ahead and recognize that.
Okay.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what is right there?
Yes.
All right, this time the state would tender the evidence states 317. And go ahead and tell the jury.
No objection.
Go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead and tell the jury what we're looking at there.
We're looking at a screenshot from my body camera footage of Mr. Perez standing near the scene.
So just simply a screenshot of what we're seeing.
Yes.
And then when we look at State Exhibit 318. Right. Take a look at 318. Are you able to recognize that as another screenshot from your body cam?
Yes, that looks like about where the video started when I first walked up.
At this time, the state would tender the evidence, takes 318.
No objection.
No objection.
All right. So with regard to 318, you had kind of parked your patrol car down a ways, right? You had to
Yes.
walk up.
Yes.
And besides interviewing Diego Perez, you did not interview anyone else at the scene, right?
No.
Okay. How long did you stay at the scene after you turned off your body cam?
Not very long, since it was a busy day. Once my supervisor got there and we started getting other calls, he asked me to leave to go take care of some of the other business in the county.
That's after you had obtained the jump drive from Mr. Perez.
Yes.
All right. All right, so I got one last question for you. With regard to the body cam video, the dates and times, are you able to explain to the jury the dates and times and how the timestamp works on body cam video? In other words, this says 1825 on it, even though it has the date of February 23rd, 2020.
Okay. Yes.
Now, obviously, 1825 is not when this is taking place.
Leading question.
Just rephrase.
All right. What time was it that you were there?
I don't set that clock that's on the camera, so I'm not sure why it's showing that date and time.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know if you were able to explain to the jury why it shows that particular time. If you're not, it's okay.
I'm not, no.
Okay. I will go ahead and pass the witness.
Afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jason Sheffield. We haven't spoken yet about this case, have we?
No, sir.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you were there to lend a helping hand in whatever they wanted you to do? You had no specific role as you
Yes.
arrived.
Just to assist.
And you met with Diego Perez, who appeared to be eager to cooperate with you.
Yes, sir.
The taking of his license, that's just something that you do to try to document who the relevant witnesses might be.
It's just a little quicker than saying what's your name, what's your address, all that. It's all in one spot.
And it was your understanding that he had relevant information about what had been happening in the neighborhood. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Specifically, what had been happening in the neighborhood as it related to the particular incident that was unfolding in the street there at that
Yes.
time. I interrupted you.
Yes, sir.
You spoke too soon.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay,
agreeing
yes.
with you. Yes, sir.
And so he went back to his home and he produced several videos for you on a thumb drive.
Yeah, he came back with a thumb drive and I didn't review it. So,
Okay, so you're not aware of the contents.
no, sir, I'm not.
But it's, to your understanding, it is whatever the history is that's been going on in the neighborhood that may be relevant.
Yes, sir. This is pretty standard practice. Businesses, people that have cameras in their homes. Hey, do you have any video footage? And they'll, we just trust them that they're going to collect the footage that they have access to and provide that to us. And in this situation, knowing that we were going to have investigators respond, I had no reason to review it, so I didn't review that particular footage.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No questions.
Nothing further from the state.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And as I understand it, you are excused for the day, but subject to recall. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a good stopping point for the day. So we're going to go ahead and break for the evening. I'd like to have you ready to get started again at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. During the recess, again, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves or with anybody else. Don't let anybody discuss this case around you or in your presence of hearing. Don't go looking for any information about the case. Whatever information may be out there, again, if you pick up the news, don't pick up the news, don't pick up news feeds, social media, whatever may be there. I'm just going to ask you to step away from all of that. And again, if anybody does approach you about the case, please notify the court and we'll go ahead and see whether we need to address that. So with those instructions and all of the other instructions I've given you to this point, we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you for your service here in the Superior Court of Glenn County. Have a good evening.
All right, you guys. So that is that for today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I want to thank all my sensations for tuning in as we were live reviewing everything. And we'll discuss this as we continue, you guys. And as the judge said, we will continue back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I will upload the next live with the next witness, you guys. So yeah, until next time.